You know what it is? It's your guy, Rhett Butler, and this is that pretty left hook. Hitting you in your goddamn liver. Shout out to all of the people that made it to the International Boxing Hall of Fame. 2 years COVID took out the actual show, and this year we inducted 3 classes, including Bernard Hopkins, Sugar Shane Mosley, Roy Jones Jr., Andre Ward, and of course, Floyd Money Mayweather. If you didn't know, I'm part of the Boxing Writers Association of America. I vote people into the Hall of Fame. I got a vote, y'all. It felt great. It was my first year voting when I voted for Floyd and Andre Ward and the rest. Amazing experience, and happy to see these guys get their flowers while they're still here. So shout out to them. We love you. Thank you for all that you do. Today we're going to take a pivot, y'all. I know I usually talk boxing. I know I usually talk MMA. But today I got my guys. You might know them from the gridiron, but now from the podcast game. Fred Taylor, Channing Crowder, Ryan Clark. All right, I want to go right in, man. Welcome to the Pretty Left Hook. Yo, Channing, you've had a hollowed football career along with you, Fred, and you, Ryan Clark. So why make the pivot? Pun definitely intended to podcasting.
We're on another podcast platform that, kind of went south. The business wasn't buttoned up. So then, me and Fred were like, we have an amazing producer in Alicia Zubakowski. And so we were touching, we found out we were touching people, DMs, and just people coming up to us in the mall and the airport. And so we wanted to continue to do it. So then we created the pivot. We wanted to bring on somebody else. And the first option was, Ryan Clark, what he does, he's an orator, the way he sets up stuff, the way he tells stories. We just knew it would add so much more to it. So we wanted to keep reaching people, keep letting people tell their stories, at a high level production. And it ended up being the pivot and ended up, jumping off and blowing up, to a level that, we expected it, but it was an overnight success, and we proud of it.
Fred, talk vulnerability. The show lends itself to athletes being extremely open and honest with you guys. What is it about the pivot that makes people uniquely get so comfortable and honest with you?
It's simple, man. Really just let the guests be the guests. You ask the question and let them speak. We break the ice because they recognize off top that we're real. We don't have an agenda other than to highlight them and allow them opportunity to basically do what they want, tell their story if they want to. They can go however deep or surface level as they decide to. And, if we see an opportunity where, it deserves, some pushback, then we'll try to go a little deeper and just get them to talk. But once they get going, we just give them the stage. And as we've evolved as a show, we've gotten comfortable with each other, Chan, RC, and myself. We have a great rapport. I think we have great dynamic and balance. Again, like Channing said, Ryan's going to always lead the show, and that's what he does great. Channing, he's an asset in what he does, and myself, I bring certain things to the table. And I think once the guests, they realize that, after either hearing about the show or they go and watch a few episodes, there's a certain comfort level that they come in with, and we break the ice, man, and we just go. We aren't here to have any negativity. We're not looking for clickbait. If they request to see the episode before it's put out, we're 100%, 1,000% open to it. And we just want to do good, I guess I could say good media, good podcasting, be true, authentic, and just 100% real. And people know that now. So it marries up well.
Ryan, I want to talk favorite guest and or favorite show. What was yours?
I think that's a hard question. And this is Ryan. And, you certainly don't want any of the guests to not think that they were appreciated. I think anytime shows are impactful in the way that a show like Michael Beasley's episode was, I think it's, to me, my favorite. I feel like it touched a ton of people. I felt like we had an opportunity to help him. And we also learned a ton about ourselves. To me, the pivot isn't seen the way it is without him, one, agreeing to do our show, and two, being so open and vulnerable to the world, truly. And, that was one of those shows that I think allowed people to know that we weren't there with an agenda, that we weren't there with the plan to push a narrative. And we really wanted our guests to know that it was a safe space. And I think that was just a beautiful moment for all of us.
Talk podcasting. Now, let's say a Colin Kaepernick or even an Antonio Brown, people that have been grossly misunderstood. If they would have, let's say, started their own podcast earlier, Draymond Green has his own show, the Green Show, where he does his thing right after every game to start the narrative his way. Do you think that could have helped athletes that have been misunderstood?
You just said the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Like, people going with what they want. You know what I'm saying? It's called, like situational bias and things. So people going with their own narrative, but we really don't. And we know as athletes, because even now we get asked, how does it feel like to be in the media? The media, how does it feel like? How do you did your thought of the media change? Now you're a part of it. Where, it's like maybe alternative media where we're not going in with the narrative. In our space, the athlete can voice his own narrative. He can change the narrative that he's seen, and people, they'll come in knowing what they say. People see, social media now. There's so much information now. There's information overload. So people see what people say about them. They see what people think about them, and so certain people have come in the interviews trying to get the narrative changed, and we just kind of facilitate that. I always say it to guests after the show. They'll be like, "Hey man, the show was dope," and I'll be like, "Bro, we just facilitated you. Like we just point guarded what you wanted to do and where you wanted to go." And I think, the conventional media, quote unquote, whatever you call it, they might go in with their own narrative, or their producer or director told them we have to get this, we have to get this talked about. We have to get this talked about. We just want to go in and talk to guys. We'll ask them questions. We know the same stories that they know, and we'll let them clarify it with their own words. Because as an athlete and honestly a famous person, when you're famous, so many people put words in your mouth and they try to, figure out your actions and what that action meant and what this, and dig deeper in the, a two sentence quote. And now they want to make a narrative off a quote that you made 3 months ago. Let's clarify that. You have the floor now to clarify that. So I just think the clarity and letting the athlete, letting the entertainer, letting that, that celebrity build their own narrative as they want to. I think that's what the safe space comes into effect. Just like Freddie said, we've done shows and questions been asked and somebody has, respond, and even one of us would be like, "Nah, bro, you don't want to put that out there like that. That won't be a good look." And then, our great production team, they can edit it out, and then, they want to see it beforehand. We'll let them see it beforehand. If they don't like the way they articulated something or explained something, we'll take it out, or we'll try to cut it to, make it more advantageous for them. So really build their own narratives.
Okay, yo, that's enough right there. You already see what it is. We pivoted from boxing to MMA real quick, but I ain't giving you it all. Come back next week for part 2 with my guys from the Pivot. And shout outs, you already know, to Up On Game Presents Network. They holding us down. Big shout out to the homie LeVar Arrington. My man Vito was Gucci. And you know what it is. It's your guy Red Butler and that. Oh, that was that pretty left hook. Hitting you with your goddamn liver. Pivot. Peace.